Hey guys, we're coming at you from the North American Bitcoin Conference. I am here with the CEO of Fantom, Michael Kong. Fantom, it is a pleasure to meet you, my friend. How you doing?
Yeah, it's great to meet you, and thanks so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, my friend. I got a lot of questions I want to ask you about the project you're working on, and you know, about your journey and some of the things you've learned about that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. No worries. Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Can I read a couple statistics real quick? Because I was looking over at ftmscan.com. I was looking at the user growth, and it absolutely blew me away. So let me read something real quick. January 17th was yesterday. We're recording this on January 18th. January 17th of 2021, on Fantom, there were 3,507 transactions, and there were 5,474 unique addresses, January 17th of 2021. Yesterday, January 17th of 2022, there were 1.1 million transactions and 1.709 million unique addresses on Fantom yesterday. So you guys have grown like 10,000% in 2021. What would you attribute all of that growth in 2021 to for the project?
Yeah, so I think a lot of that growth has to do with like several factors. One has to be, I think, because of the high transaction fees on Ethereum, and transaction fees in Ethereum have always been like pretty high, but especially in like 2021, they kind of like increased a lot. I think that's one factor that kind of like drew people from Ethereum to use other like layer ones that are out there. The reason being is that, you know, people can't afford the transaction fees on Ethereum that, you know, can be like $5, $10, $20, sometimes even like a few $100 for some smart contracts that are being executed. So that drew a lot of people to say Fantom and other chains where they could do pretty much what they could do on Ethereum, except just a lot more cheaper and also like faster as well. I think a few other reasons as well are like the market conditions were a lot better in 2021, so compared to like previous years. So I think there was like general like bullishness and interest in cryptocurrencies as well, and in particular there were interest in a lot of like layer one alternative like smart contract engines as well. So I think all those factors kind of like help propel like the growth of Fantom like we've seen in the past couple of years, which has been tremendous, coming from like nothing to like something now. And I think is also like a testament to the developers and the team who kind of built the technology from the ground up, all technology focused, and we were able to you know, deploy a smart contract platform that ended up being like usable and has a lot of advantages to it, and we were able to capture a lot of that growth in the crypto industry as a result of it.
Wow, so you guys grew technologically as far as your ability to process a multitude of transactions, a lot of people on the chain, and also your ability to do smart contracts, but you also grew from, well actually you grew from 3 places. You grew from there, but you also grew from, you know, awareness in the market, and then you also grew because the industry grew so much in 2021. So it was almost a perfect storm for you guys last year.
Yeah, I think a lot of that success comes down to like patience. So you know, Fantom was a company that or was a project that launched in like 2018. So I think a lot of people were aware of. You know, they did an ICO, it got a lot of hype in 2018, and then there were a lot of like internal management issues where kind of the hype went away and people thought that the project was like kind of dead. But so we had to like kind of restart and build the technology from the ground up and come up with ideas from the very beginning, original ideas in basically building the consensus engine and then basically like launching the whole platform. So, you know, that whole process from starting from scratch to launching technology at the end of December 2019, the 27th of December 2019 is when we had the first iteration of the mainnet launch. You know, that took like more than like a year and a half of development. And so, you know, in the meantime, there weren't, you know, Fantom's not really into like gimmicks or into like marketing stunts or, you know, ways to kind of get short-term growth. It was all about, from the very beginning, building the fundamentals, building technology from scratch. And so we waited a long time before we started like getting out there and being well known again by launching the technology first. And then in 2020, you know, we started to get a little bit of traction, but we're still kind of developing the technology from the first iteration. And then I think in 2021, you know, it really took off for like a number of factors that I talked about before. Like, you know, the crypto market kind of recovered from what happened in 2018. There was a lot of interest in crypto projects. There was a lot of interest in alternative layer ones as well, because of the speed and the scalability and the lower transaction fees compared to say Ethereum. And also the fact that Fantom is EVM compatible, which was a very deliberate choice by design, was very much so we could attract users as quickly as possible, because the way that you compile and run smart contracts on Ethereum is pretty much the same way as on Fantom. And that's very important because in order to get users we wanted to make it as easy as possible for Ethereum developers to be able to build on Fantom while taking advantage of the underlying consensus, the speed, and the lower transaction fees. So I think those combination of factors really made Fantom attractive for developers and users to start using it, and that's why, as you illustrated in your statistics, we've seen literally exponential growth.
It's
and
insane.
to be fair, exponential growth for other chains as well, but also for Fantom as well. And so, because we built the technology and it was usable, we were able to capture that some of that growth in the crypto market. So
I think that's crazy.
That's what happened.
Another statistics I read was in between September 1st of 2021 and the end of 2021, you guys saw 553% growth in total value locked on the chain. That's or something to that effect. There was an insane amount of growth going on Fantom. And one of the things I really respect about you and why I was so excited to interview you and work with you is that one of the things I think is very prevalent in the cryptocurrency space is market, then worry about product. But something I've noticed with Fantom and just a couple of other projects is that you and your team have focused very heavily on building an amazing product, getting it right, making sure those transaction fees are low, making sure it's easy for people to transition from Ethereum because that's very important, and then you focus on the growth because Fantom, was not top 30 cryptocurrency, not worth $7.5 billion like it is right now. A year ago, it got all of that after 2.5-3 years of growth. So let me ask you this: what life lessons have you personally learned during this journey? And then, what life lessons that you've learned from this journey do you think retail traders can take in their investment in projects and their investment in the space in the same way that you've learned about how to invest in the growth of a currency like Fantom?
Yeah, so kind of like I've learned a lot of lessons through the work at Fantom and kind of like my life and work in general, and that is the most fundamental thing about running a project or running anything is it's all about people. And so you need to have the right people there. And what I mean by like having the right people there is not just like, are they the smartest, are they the most like technically competent at working in a particular field, but more so about like, are these people like actually like good characters? Like, do they have integrity? Do they have honesty? Are they hardworking? And of course, are they able to get the job done? Do they have the technical knowledge or expertise or background as well? And it's all those factors that you've got to really consider when you're building a team. Because if you have people who don't have a good character, who for example like have like a big ego, and we had some people in Fantom who've had some egos in the past, or are not able to work as a team. It doesn't matter like how smart they are or how smart they think they are. It's never going to work out in the end. So if you have a great team that specialize in certain areas, whether it's like software development, whether it's marketing, whether it's business development, and you put them together and they're able to work together as a cohesive team, you're much more likely to get great results than if you hire the wrong people. And there are really bad consequences for hiring the bad people or working with the bad people. So that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. It's not really about like the technology. It's not really about the product in the end. It's all about the people. And so once you focus on the people, then you can focus on the technology and the product, and then you definitely increase your chances of doing well in the end. And for like retail people out there, or like people in crypto in general, I don't really give investment advice.
Sure.
All I'd say is that like about Fantom is that it's really all about the fundamentals, and that's why it took several years to get to the position where we are now. It's not like we launched a project a week ago and we got the traction now. It's more like we launched a project years ago and build it from the ground up, and that's kind of the reason why we have the growth now. You're not going to really get short-term gains in projects, or if you do get short-term gains in projects, it's usually like very fleeting and doesn't necessarily last for the long term. But because like Fantom is here for the long term, where we plan to have the chain existing forever, we've really focused on the technology from the beginning. And in the end, it's all about like user experience. As I said in my presentation at the conference, it's all about at least for like a smart contract platform, the lowest transaction fees, the fastest confirmation times, and also making sure that all the transactions are secure. So every single development about Fantom is all geared towards achieving a better user experience for people. And I think that's the reason why you've seen a lot of people start to use Fantom, and why I think a lot of people are going to keep using Fantom, and it's just going to keep growing from where it is right now.
I love that. That's such an amazing point. You talk about the growth that it didn't happen overnight. You know, Fantom was, you know, I don't even know if was Fantom even in the top 100 before 2021 began?
In terms of market capitalization, probably not. Probably
yeah, and now it's in like the top 30. It's grown so much, but there was that 3-year period there, and that's just fascinating to me that, you know, you work on it every single day, because that's how this channel was, and we work on it every single day, and you don't really start seeing growth, and you don't really start seeing real growth, like exponential growth, until like year 4. And so I think patience is a huge virtue, not only for people that are developing, but also people that are investing, and that's really why I want to pick your brain on that. Let me ask you one final question. You also mentioned people. At our company, we have 5 hiring priorities. I hire based on what's your purpose and can I help you fulfill it? What are your mission, vision, core values? Do they align with ours? What is your passion? Are you passionate about the job that you have? For example, if we're going to hire an editor, I want them to be passionate about that. I look for soft skills, you know, interviewing, public speaking, conflict resolution, then hard skills like video editing and whatnot. But the number one most important thing that I hire for and that I look for is purpose. What is your purpose? What's your mission? So let me ask you, what is the purpose and what is the mission of the Fantom project?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, the purpose and the mission is really to build like the most user-friendly smart contract platform that's out there. So as I said before, you know, users care just about a few things, and so for us, it's about like optimizing that experience. So I think it's really important to mention that, you know, all the technology we're working on, whether it's like on a core consensus or the middleware or the application layer and the tooling and all of that, it's all geared towards achieving one thing, and that's just having a great user experience. Because in the end, we're not building technology for technology's sake. Someone I'm really good friends with like reminded me like years ago. He was a very successful guy in IT and business. He told me, if you only care about the technology, then you just have a science project. And so if you just want to have a science project, that's fine.
Steve Jobs talked about that.
Yeah, but if you actually want to run a business, it's not just the technology that matters. You have to build the technology for a specific business purpose. And for us, that business purpose is having like the best smart contract platform with the best user experience. So all the technology development is all geared towards that. So that really is the ultimate aim of the foundation. And you know, we want developers to be building on Fantom and launch all sorts of cool applications. So you know, we've seen like DeFi related applications, non-fungible token related applications, now gaming and NFT, and our metaverses as well. So we really want people building a variety of different use cases on Fantom, and you know, some use cases out there that haven't really been developed on include like, you know, for example, like group-based insurance, which I think is a very interesting idea. That's something I like to see on Fantom, and really just making it as easy for developers and the community to use Fantom. That's really just the aim in the end. So if anybody wants to help join us build that kind of like vision out, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Michael, I really appreciate that. Is there any final thing you want to say to our audience before we wrap it out?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I really appreciate, you know, the community growth that's out there, because without the community, you know, there will be no Fantom. It will just be like some sort of science project. And so I really thank the community from, you know, for joining Fantom, for building applications, really cool applications on Fantom. And there are so many like really high quality applications on Fantom. And you know, we went from a project that didn't have a community, that didn't really have anything, to now having like quite a substantial community, and that's really great to see. And in the end, it's the community growth that's what really matters for Fantom in the end. So all of the developments are geared towards community growth.
Like you said, it's all about people. Michael, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it,
buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely consider subscribing, because we're trying to help you become financially free in these cryptocurrency markets. And also, consider following us on Twitter @CryptoJeb for more updates on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Peace.